we're all going through tough times. So it's how do we navigate that? And we hear lots of things, and even we may hear something, but it doesn't resonate with us. So let's see if we can get from Denise some ideas of how we can, guide ourselves through these tough times that we're facing. I'll invite Denise to enlighten us and share a little bit about yourself and about the topic tonight. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much, Pavan. It's my great pleasure to be with all of you, and special thanks to Sister Gita, who invited me. It's just lovely to be with you. Well, yes, it is difficult times. And so how do we manage difficult times? Well, I think from the topic, what I'm understanding is that we need to look at the matter of fear, fearfulness, confidence, doubt, this sort of thing in the face of stuff that is fear producing and that does make us worried. The media always goes for the most fearful, dangerous, adrenaline producing news, and so it makes us feel a little bit more unsafe than we might otherwise. But one thing that's interesting is whether you are safe and whether you feel safe. So I would say that the concern about safety is because of fear of something going wrong, losing our property, our loved ones, our own health and well-being, our job, our reputation, our position in society. All these kinds of things are very volatile, very easy to lose. But then on the other hand, we also have to look at the fact that there's also quite a lot of resilience. And we need to, I think, a little bit focus on that. We hear about climate change as if there's going to be the collapse of the weather system anytime soon. But the earth is pretty resilient, and you hear about social collapse and family collapse and all these things, but yet there is a resilience which I think we can give attention to, because, as they say, it's all in the mind. And so what are we going to put in our mind? And this is why meditation is quite relevant. And people wonder, what is the definition of meditation? So for me, my definition of meditation is that you give time to think about what's worth thinking about. And what is worth thinking about? Well, first of all, yourself, because who are you? You don't really know. Where did you come from? Could be anywhere. Where are you going? Who knows? So yet you need to have a sense of where you came from, who you are, where you're going, what's it all about. And there are also other laws of spirituality that we also need to think about, because they tell us how the world works. And if you understand more deeply about how the world works, not just only physically, but also spiritually, and you think of yourself as a spiritual being in a material world, dealing with whatever is coming along, taking into consideration the laws of spirituality, then I think it makes you a lot more easier about dealing with danger. For example, take the idea of predestination. Many people say that everything is destined. most people believe they have a destiny. Obviously, you don't know what it is, but if you think that there is a destiny, then whether things will go well or things will go badly is also an aspect of destiny. So, well, there will be good days and bad days, and you have to take the rough with the smooth. That's an old piece of wisdom that we all know. But I think you need to intensify your feelings about how you can manage the rough with the smooth. And this is also where meditation comes in, because there's another aspect of meditation that I think is quite important, and that is that when you meditate, you're drawing spiritual energy into yourself, which means you're strengthening yourself. And so there are different ways in which your personal power manifests itself. And one of the ways is that you are quite flexible and quite well able to take the rough with the smooth, and you surf the world, and it's okay. Whatever it is, it's all right. You deal with it. You have this policy, whatever it is, I'll deal with it, and not to have so much concern about what if this and what if that and how about this, and all of these worries that come in the form of thoughts that make us doubt what's going to happen next. Nobody knows what's going to happen next, but we also learn about the laws of karma. And these are very interesting because they're something that you can't avoid. So if you know about the laws of karma and you know what constitutes good karma, and you do all sorts of good karma, what you're basically doing by that is creating the future that you want. If you are negligent about your karma and you don't care what you do or what happens to anybody that you interact with, you're in a way playing with fire, because the laws of karma will operate. So the wise person takes into consideration these laws. And the more you are attentive on not what other people are doing, but what you're doing, the more you're clocking up good karma. And good karma brings consequences in terms of circumstances, in terms of special kind of help. I'll give you a little story. A good friend of mine a few years ago was suddenly diagnosed with a really, really bad illness, which could be fatal. And all sorts of really terrible things happened. And she got to a point where she was almost about to leave the body. And as she was in that condition, she had this feeling, she was telling me about it, she had this feeling that she had a choice. She could decide to stay or to go. And she was really surprised at how much she had power in that situation. And of course, she decided to stay. And then she also experienced that she had help from the force of nature. And the force of nature also refers to your body's ability to heal itself. So if the force of nature is helping you, it means that if you choose to stay and continue, you're going to get all this very incognito, subtle help. And she made it through, and she's leading a really good life now. And experiences like this make you aware that there are so many things that are subtle, that are intangible, that that you can't really put your finger on, but you may have an intuitive feeling for. And this is also connected with the laws of karma, because what is karma all about? Karma means your action, your interaction. So you have karma with yourself. You have to take care of yourself, honor yourself, be good to yourself, understand good ways to lead your life, and taking into consideration the circumstances, the opportunities, the obstacles and difficulties, and navigate your way. This is also karma. Then you have karma with the people around you, your friends, your relatives, the community, how you interact with them in such a way as to be a good presence, a good atmosphere, a positive energy. You're there for people when they need you. All these things add up to an energy of positive karma that becomes available for you when you need it. You also have karma with nature, karma with the elements of nature. And if you interact with nature in a way that is attentive, loving, caring, it reciprocates for you. You do also have karma with the divine. And in whatever way you believe or know or feel or intuit, but when you have very positive feelings and interaction with that energy, then also there is reciprocation. So karma is all about reciprocity. And it's about the quality of your relationships with all aspects of life, your body, your people, your land, your community, everything. And when your karma is good, you have a very clean, clear conscience. And what happens with that is you get enhanced intuition. And this is very helpful, very useful, because if there is something like a place where you shouldn't go, or a time when you shouldn't go somewhere, go later, go earlier, it's a very subtle kind of feeling that actually helps with your safety. Because if you're at the wrong place at the wrong time, obviously that's a bad idea. Something bad will happen. But these things are real. And I think probably most of you have felt this or sensed it. And if you're really connected with your spiritual side of yourself, you enhance that. And of course, the meditation that you do enhances it also. Then think about when things go wrong, like you lose something. Some people, when they lose something, their first thought is, oh, somebody took it. And usually nobody took it, you misplaced it. And so when you've discovered that enough times, you begin to realize that you need to do something about that first thought and change it from somebody took it to how come I must have misplaced it? Let me think, let me backtrack, and not blame other people as your immediate reaction to losing something. There are times when you have bad days, everything goes wrong, you get passed over for a promotion, somebody rejects you, all sorts of negative things happen. And usually they're a bit unpredictable. So worrying about them makes no sense because you never get it right. What's really going to happen that's not okay. But as a negative thing occurs, the thing to do is really connect with your feelings, because there is something very important about the triggering effect on your own psyche, on your own psychology, on your own being, the triggering effect of an apparently negative circumstance. It might not actually be negative, but you'll feel negative about it. You expect something to happen some way and it doesn't, then you think that, well, that's a negative thing. And the important thing, I think, what a meditator can do more easily than somebody who doesn't meditate is you catch it. You catch it, take time with it. Okay, what is going on here? How come I'm taking this in a negative way? Is it really negative? Is it just me taking it in a negative way, taking it personally? This is actually just a character defect, just internal weakness, a moment of lack of self-confidence, a moment of just being vulnerable when you don't expect to be. So let yourself feel these things and feel what feelings it elicits in you. Move through that and bring yourself back to a natural, more positive, comfortable state where you get past that. This is a very, very good practice, because it's only really when these negative things happen that you become aware that you have a little weakness somewhere. Because when everything's going well, you think, I'm fine and I've got all the characteristics I need. And of course, we all do when everything's going well. And it makes us a bit blind to areas where we need to do a little work on ourselves. So these moments, sudden and unexpected moments where something goes wrong, you feel hard done by, these type of things, sit with that feeling and let yourself really feel the feeling so that you know what's going on inside. And also, you can, at such moments, connect yourself to your source of inner power and bring yourself back to a naturally stable state of being. And in spirituality, we learn about the value of equanimity. And equanimity is a really good form of internal balance to achieve. So equanimity is like this. You practice to be stable and steady in the face of the pairs of opposites. So the world has got positive things, negative things all the time. It's a bit up and down. And there is a secret in here that is quite worth knowing. And the secret is this, that when things are going really well, if you go for it and you start to take sustenance from the fact that things are going really well, and you make yourself feel good because things are doing well, you make yourself feel good because you're thinking that because things are good, so you are fine. But what happens if you take that sustenance from things going well, then the opposite happens after a little while. Things go badly, and you find you have to actually have difficulty getting back into your sense of equilibrium because you get pushed down, you get depressed, you get the feeling that things are really not okay, therefore you are not okay. And this is disequilibrium. So equanimity really means that you can keep yourself feeling good about yourself and knowing your value independently of whether things are going well or badly. And this is really a very, very good practice, because not very many people understand the importance of not sustaining yourself by things going well, by being popular, by getting successes, because the way of the world is this, that everything eventually equalizes. This is also part of the law of karma. Things will equalize, but in the process, things are up and down. So our practice is to be stable even while things are up and down. So when things are going up, you stay stable in the middle. When things are going down, you also stay stable in the middle. But if you haven't stayed stable in the middle when things are going up, you will not be able to when things are going down. So this is a really useful secret to know about, to keep yourself easy, steady, stable. Because your value as a human being is nothing to do with circumstances. So we also have this idea that circumstances are like a big 3D movie, and there's all kinds of dramas going on, which you may be surrounded by, but it doesn't mean that all of it is because of you. When a person is a very small child, they're called egocentric. That's the psychological term. And when a person is a really small child, this egocentricity of the child interprets whatever's happening that's well is because of them. They're good, therefore things are happening well. And when things are happening badly, they think it's my fault. And a lot of people experience some kind of shock or trauma in their childhood, because life is not so easy after all. And this stops the person from developing. And these are some form of psychological wounds that keep you in this egocentric state. Otherwise, natural maturing is that you are not center stage all the time. Things are not because of you. And you shift to the side and you watch all the things that are happening, which are nothing to do with you. And so you are the detached observer. If you see something really terrible, it may affect you and make you feel really down. But you can't do anything about what other people are doing. There may be some circumstances where you can, but mostly there are so many things, especially through the media, that we come to know about that you can't do anything about. And so when you are observing and coming to know about all these dramatic things that are happening in the world, a lot of people get very influenced, very affected by that. And that's how the media gets you to watch it and listen to it and buy it. But that's business, you know. And it's true that there are wars going on, there's murders happening, robberies happening, all kinds of bad things happen. But if you think that the slice of bad things that are happening that you see on the media is going to give you an average of what's going on, you're being deceived. Because on the whole, people are good. On the whole, people are generous. On the whole, people take care of each other. Of course, there are many instances where that doesn't happen, but if you keep yourself really positive about it, and you are a person who has love for humanity as a matter of how you feel and as a personal policy, there will be reciprocation. And if you have love for the divine, in the same way, there will be reciprocation, so that whatever might be bad, or you're in the middle of a situation that could go really, really badly, very often you find that it just turns around and becomes okay. You know, sometimes you are called upon to do things which are quite scary. You may have to go into an unknown place all by yourself. You don't know where you're going. You don't know whether you will meet the people you have to meet, or if there are any, this type of thing happens where you are stretched because of not knowing, and you're inexperienced in that particular situation. And so definitely you will feel apprehensive, and that diminishes your state of inner power. And so at such a time, it's really good to tell yourself a few little things which are kind of interesting. And one of them is that I'm not alone. There is a presence always with me. And when you feel a little apprehensive, you can, in your meditation especially, you can enhance your sense of that presence being with you, and you feel that you have some extra capacity, the quality of being able to do what you don't know how to do just naturally. And then you're able to get through it. And what this does is give you greater confidence and make you feel that, yeah, even if it's a difficult, scary thing with many obstacles, but you have this attitude that says, whatever it is, I will manage it, I'll get through it, I'll adjust, I'll navigate it, and I'll get there. And this is also called something like firm, determined thought. And it's very, very powerful. You're in a situation where you don't know what's going on, you don't know how to do because it's new, but you have a firm, determined thought. I will do it. It's destined for me to do it. I have the help of the divine. I will make it. And this attitude actually causes you to be able to make it. And even if things go wrong, but you're not interacting with those things in a way that makes you feel defeated, but you're interacting in a way that you're adjusting, you can do it. If you get setbacks, okay, you'll get around it, and you get there. And that makes you really feel a lot more comfortable, even in wild times. You feel you're not afraid, okay, I'll lose my job. Okay, maybe you'll lose your job, but you'll find a way around it. You'll find people to help you. You keep your attitude positive, and you get through it. If you let yourself get depressed or dark thoughts or give up, then that's a choice. You have to realize that's a choice, and you have the opposite choice that you can make. And it's just a matter of applying your will. It's really in your hands. It's up to you. You can do it. So I think I'll stop there because maybe some of you may have some questions or comments. And so thank you very much for your attention.
Any questions? I had one, which it's to do with karma. And when I was doing the Raj Yoga meditation course almost 20 years ago, that one lesson was the most powerful. I still remember it well. And a question that may help other people to understand karma, we understand it as an action. But more and more, I'm focusing on karma beginning as a thought. What's your feelings on that? And is the effect of karma, the weight of a thought and the weight of an action, are they equal? Do they carry the same kind of reciprocation factor, would you say, and the importance of thoughts and karma?
Well, karma is not limited to an act. Karma, even a thought, is karma. You have thoughts, you have words, you have actions, and every action is preceded by a thought. So the thought is paramount. And I think a very important thing is to take care of your mind and really be aware about the thoughts that arise in your mind and which ones you entertain, because whatever is going on in your mind, that's going to come out in the action. And if you allow yourself to have weak thoughts or negative thoughts, then you've chosen to do that. You've chosen to encourage negative karma and negative karmic consequences. But every time a thought arises, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, you can decide whether to sustain that thought, whether to entertain that thought, or whether to say, okay, thank you very much, goodbye. I don't want to go there. I have completely different, better thoughts, so go away and let me stick with the thoughts that are good for me. You can do that. You have that power. So,
I guess that's where the power of meditation comes from, because that helps to meter our thoughts.
Yeah, well, meditation is thought itself. You see, when you're meditating, you're deciding what you're going to think about. And normally speaking, your mind goes off here, there, and everywhere, good, bad, and indifferent. And when you're meditating, you're making a choice to think about something that you decided to think about. And of course, you will get distracted, and then you bring your mind back to what you wanted to, because this is how you make your mind strong. And the part of you that organizes your mind is your intellect, your understanding, and your will, you see. And you need to apply your will when it comes to how you feel, what you're going to do with those feelings, because feelings arise from thought. I mean, you may have all kinds of feelings coming and you don't know what the thoughts are that triggered them. But when you go deep inside and follow the feelings and follow the thoughts to their origin, then you find out what's the weakness that allowed it to happen. It's not that a weakness is bad, it's just that when a soul is spiritually depleted, then weakness is there. And what you're doing by meditation is identifying the different weak areas and giving them strength and light and wisdom and so on, so that you're really developing yourself at the deepest level. And that shows in your karma, and then later in the circumstances that you're surrounded with. But no matter what you do, there will be exams, there will be tests, because these are here to make us strong and to make us experienced. Otherwise, we won't become wise if we don't get experience. And bad experiences are very useful because you learn from them. Nobody ever learns much from their successes.
There's one question comment, and it says, is the sense of the egocentric in a child and in some adults, with them thinking everything's happening because of them, is this a form of Maya?
No. It's just that if you are a child, You have to be egocentric, because without that, you will not survive. But when you're not a child, but you haven't developed psychologically or emotionally because of one reason or another, then you're diminished in your ability to function in the world. Maya, I think you really need to understand Maya means materialism. And materialism means that you consider only those things that you perceive through your senses to be real, and anything else is not real. That's Maya. And when you develop yourself spiritually, you are able to develop what we call the third eye. And the third eye is your ability to perceive the intangibles directly with your mind, which means that you use your sense organs for sense perceptions, and things which are not physically tangible, you can also perceive them, so that you do not become limited by thinking only physical things are real. And people think of Maya as out of control emotions, but it's a bit more subtle than that. Out of control emotions is because you're spiritually weak. And so what you need to do is give more attention to absorbing spiritual energy, so that you don't, fly off the handle or get pulled this way or that way. And under the influence of your sense perception, you want to be able to decide for yourself what you're going to do about the different stimuli that come your way.
No, thank you for that. It's really good, because I think sometimes Maya's definition can be misinterpreted or seen in the wrong way. And also, I've heard it, people almost make it as a third party thing, it's nothing to do with them, it's an external thing, and it's something that comes to them. But I think I like your definition where it's materialistic based, so therefore it's coming from the self. So thank you for that. Lovely. I've got another question or a comment. It says, if a thought comes out of habit and realization happens after a while, and you merge the thought into positivity, will the impact of the earlier thought have the negative effect? So basically, you get an ill thought, but you correct it. Does the initial negativity get neutralized, or does it still carry some negativity?
Put it this way. You may have a negative thought, but you don't need to act on it. And if you keep it like that, it's quite manageable. And if you try and calculate this way and that way, you probably won't get the calculation right. But if you just say, okay, whatever arises as a thought, so be it. But what I do, that's up to me. This is how you create shift, because the thought arises, you act on it, you're powerless. The thought arises, you don't act on it, you've used your will, and you're increasing your willpower because you have a conscience. And the thought arises and your conscience says, well, thank you very much, we're not going to do that, so go away. And that is how you're exerting your power and creating a shift. And it takes time, of course.
Please, can I ask you to close on a meditation? Thank you.
So, meditation. First of all, give yourself a moment or two to just settle and turn your attention within, because meditation or yoga starts with I, the soul. I'm not my body. I'm me. And I am a pure, peaceful, powerful, blissful, wonderful being of light in this body. The soul is very subtle, very powerful, mysterious, but I am a soul. Immortal, I cannot die. I can lose this body, but I will always be. Good things happen, bad things happen, but finally, I will always be me. And the most important thing is to be connected with myself and not lose myself in people, places, and things. So meditation is a return to the self. Solid, stable, and subtle. But also, I must realize that I, the soul, am depleted. I need power. I need light. I need energy. So I must go to the source in my mind. The source of spiritual energy is not in the world. It is very subtle, very beautiful. It is a being of light that is always full. As you go deep inside, you find yourself on that dimension of light, a different dimension, where all the things of the world fade and you become more conscious of the intangible, the spiritual, the light beyond. This is the ocean of love and power. This is the wisdom that is beyond our simple understanding. This is open for us, available for us, waiting for us. This is our eternal companion. This light, this heart, this mind is with us always, supporting us, guiding us, sometimes watching us. As you become very deep into yourself, just a pure point of light, you connect with that light, and the energy flows into you. You are locked onto that source, and it just keeps filling the soul. You are silent, stable and still. And that light flows in, fills every part of you. And you just hold steady, receiving, appreciating, loving, being loved. Your relationship and connection is deepening. And gently let yourself return back to the everyday world, bringing that sense of connectedness with you. Stay connected while engaged in different activities. Stay close. Om Shanti.
Shanti, Om Shanti. I just want to say a big thank you to one of our senior yogis, Sister Denise. It's wonderful to have you joining us down and sharing. It was delightful. A bit overdue, but wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.